When I tell people I wake up at 4:30, they are always so shocked. But this has been something that I've worked up to over the past year, once I figured out that there are just some things that are easier for me to do in the mornings. But also because I really enjoy taking my time and having some time for myself before I go to work. And even though my alarm does go off at 4:30, I do squeeze in a few extra minutes of getting back in bed to finish waking up while the water boils. Now, I am not even going to try to pretend like I don't have my coffee that early either. I know what some research says about having coffee when you wake up. There's other research that says otherwise. I say do whatever works best for you. But this is just something that works for me because I do like to get a long workout in the mornings also, and this helps me not only as a pre-workout drink to get me going, but also it helps me get in a good amount of proteins, carbs, and fats with the collagen powder, grass-fed whole milk, and raw honey that I put into it. And even though I do drink my coffee this early, I also make sure to have a good amount of water beforehand. That is definitely key. So after I've prepared my yummy drink, I get settled in on the couch and spend some time looking over what I have planned for that day, any important tasks I need to get done, and what my appointment calendar looks like at the clinic. This is also when I like to get my journaling done. I write out the flow for the day, and then I like to set an intention for mindset and energy. I often take this time to write down a reflection on the day prior and any insight I might have gained from it. This process has been super helpful in becoming more aware and in tune with myself, and it really is a cornerstone for helping me stay grounded and present throughout the rest of the day. This is something that I first started doing when I began getting into journaling years ago when I started my journey, and it has become such a huge part of my routine, and it really does help me get my mindset on the right track. After I finish my journaling, I set my timer to 14:44 because, hey, we love angel numbers, and then I do my morning meditation practice. After I've cleaned up, gotten dressed, given Mona some cuddles, I get my shoes on, put in my headphones, and head out the door. I usually try and get to the gym by 6:30 at the latest, but depending on how quickly I'm moving that day, it may be a little bit earlier. I always make sure to get my warm-up in before doing any kind of weight training. This has been super key over the years to helping me stay pain-free, injury-free, just making sure my body feels as good as it possibly can. After my warm-up, I head into about 45 to 60 minutes of weight training, and then I always finish it off with some high incline cardio. I've always been more of a morning workout person, but I became pretty inconsistent once the pandemic hit, and I've spent the last 6 months or so really dialing it in. It was honestly really hard at first. I felt so much resistance to putting out this much energy this early in the day, but now that I've gotten used to it, I'm so thankful that I didn't give up on it. Working out in the morning always ends up giving me more energy than I started out with, and it really helps me ground myself even further. Once I'm done with the gym, I head back home to shower and get ready for the rest of the day. But one last thing before I head off to work for the day is breakfast. I know there are different takes on eating windows and what to eat or how much to eat in the mornings. I've done various different ways of eating in the past, and my most recent episode or bout of intermittent fasting, I just started noticing it was no longer working for my body, even though it had been before. I started struggling with low energy, and I'm pretty sure my metabolism just wasn't happy. My mood was also not as balanced, and with all of the activity that I do, as well as the amount of energy that goes into a full day of patient care, I just knew that it was important for me to fuel myself properly. Having a big breakfast has been a game changer for me recently, and it's seriously worth the extra time and effort it takes to make sure I squeeze that in before I head out the door. I know waking up this early isn't ideal for everyone, but being able to start my day fully grounded so that I can then be fully present with patients that day is entirely worth it. Remember, you can't pour from an empty cup.